to Indian Indian News. Our guest today is Raj Sharma. He will be honored with Lifetime Achievement Award on October 29th at Burlington Marriott by New England Choice Awards Gala. We are going to talk to him about his professional journey as well as his immense contribution to philanthropy, community service, and poverty disruption. Raj, welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, Upendra. Great to be here.
Excellent. And you know the drill, we have done it several times with you. And honestly, we are really looking forward to honoring you for what you have done for the community here in the New England in the United States as well as in India.
Thank you. More than you, I'm honored. And I'm humbled, to get an award like this.
Excellent. So now let's first start. I want to do it in two parts. First part is going to be the professional life and career. And then we'll get into the philanthropy and community service in youth.
Sounds good.
So name it Barron's, Financial Times, Forbes. You have been listed in the top advisors list worldwide. And that was not initially how you started your career. You were the media guy. And so how did your career path change? And how you have excelled in something in which you did not start your career?
I call myself an accidental advisor. And in many ways, life is never linear. It takes you through different paths. But there were a few commonalities. When I was growing up, one of the things I got into at an early age was I was a radio DJ with All India Radio. And I loved that communication aspect of connecting with people, making an impact, playing music, interviewing people. And that was the initial progression. Then I got an MBA. My dad said, get an MBA, son, otherwise you'll be unemployed. So I got an MBA, worked in marketing and sales and finance for a bunch of years. But that media passion did not.
Now, since you mentioned your dad, sounds like somebody who's very rational. Tell us a little bit about him.
Absolutely. My dad was a chemist.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also an entrepreneur. And if you recall India of the 1970s, there were lots of ups and downs for entrepreneurs. Sure. It was not a pure sailing. And he always felt his kids should have a profession which was much steadier than what he had because of the business he was in. So he sort of felt that banking would be a great business. And I said, Dad, you don't know much. You don't know anything about media. Media is the future. And so my dad said, all right, I agree with you that media is the future. But do me a favor, get an MBA in any case. So I did listen to him. And I'm glad I did. In the book I wrote, I always say that dads are right with a 20-year lag. So he was right. So I followed my passion after spending a few years in, finance and marketing. I wanted to do something in media, be a filmmaker. And that's what brought me to the United States, first to Boston University briefly, and then to Emerson College. And I spent a good decade in film, media, in storytelling, pretty much. And then if I look at my career, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always felt in the media world, I was an entrepreneur. I was always the executive producer making things happen. And so I stumbled into wealth management by accident. And most people said I lasted in the business for 6 months. But wealth management is also the ability to communicate an idea, the ability to develop trust, the ability to develop a relationship. And I sort of found my calling, something I did not anticipate, I did not plan for, but has become my life.
And you do that under the Sharma Group, which is elite wealth management firm within Merrill Lynch.
That's right.
And which is also part of the giant bank, Bank of America.
That's exactly correct. The Sharma Group is a group of professionals, 18 of us in the Boston office. We have a national practice in wealth management. So we are backed, part of Merrill Lynch, very entrepreneurial group in what we do. So it's almost like your own independent company within a large brand.
So Actually, we had written about it that somehow you manage about close to $7-8 billion assets.
It goes up and down every day.
Okay.
Believe me,
But do you have any, can you share?
I can't mention any numbers, but,
Okay.
you
It's a giant.
are in the ballpark.
Okay, good. Excellent. So how challenging this change was from media and filmmaking to the wealth management?
Initially it was challenging because what they do is give you the training and you've got to get all the licenses. And then they hand you the white pages and the yellow pages and say, go get your clients.
Hmm.
So that is always the toughest part of any business, developing clients. And my media background, especially in radio, helped me to sort of communicate an idea in talking to people. So one of the first things I did was do seminars for doctors. I felt doctors as a group were very passionate about financial planning and financial independence and risk management and malpractice. So I carved a niche in that area initially, and then we gravitated to entrepreneurs and wealth creators. So throughout it all, my purpose was that if I educate people and let them know of resources available, they might do business with me. I never was a salesman. I always put education first and sharing ideas. And hopefully the power of ideas will get you someone and say, he sounds like a decent guy, let me do business with him. So it was a process. Success never happens, overnight, as you know. It takes about 20 years. So it was a process of building my book brick by brick, over the past 3 decades in the Boston area.
So now there are so many wealth management experts, in the United States itself, and so there are hundreds of thousands of them. But how you climb on the top?
It wasn't like I said, this is the way I want to go about doing it. We first sort of defined what is important for the client. So our purpose is making the client's life better, enhance their lives, provide peace of mind. And how do you provide peace of mind? You do it through a financial planning kind of framework. You sort of understand their needs, their goals, their concerns, their fears, and then you develop a plan of action, almost like a GPS. So I've always put planning first ahead of investing. To me, investing is a means to an end, but you really have to understand your clients. So one of the things I tell my team is God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to use in that proportion. So you want to be a good listener. And, it's not just about making money, but it's really about accomplishing things which are important to you. So purpose, I think, has to drive you. And my purpose has always been enhancing the lives of our clients, ensuring that we're helping in their success, helping meet their aspirations.
And that brings me back to your, you were talking earlier about your book, which you published, I think last year, right?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about maybe 1 or 2 key messages from that book.
Sure. I would say a key message from the book is this is a book meant for financial advisors or people who are considering the profession or anybody. It's about life lessons. And I've always felt a few principles are important. Number one, the spirit of optimism. You have to be optimistic, have a sense of positive expectation. The spirit of gratitude, that we're all given a lot of opportunities in this great country, and expressing that gratitude is important. A spirit of respect for people regardless of differences. So that sort of underlies my sort of personal philosophy. And the book is all about defining your business philosophy, your investment philosophy, finding your purpose. How do you build a team? And I've always believed building a team is one of the most difficult things an entrepreneur can do. And there have been sort of 3 qualities which I look for. Shared values. You want people with a sense of ethics, which you believe in. And if somebody says, I want to be in the field to make money, that'll be the last interview.
Sure.
So it has to be of a larger purpose to be in the business. And people are willing to accept responsibly. Mm-hmm. And number 3, people who are open to change, open to a critical review, open to suggestions. So those qualities were important to me. So as we built the team, we look for individuals who sort of fit that kind of mold. So the book is a compilation of best practices over 3 decades. And the other thing in the book, which I'm very passionate about, is America is a wonderful country, but there's a massive racial gap. The average net worth of this country is something like $140,000. The average net worth of a Black family is about $37,000. So how do you bridge the racial gap, the wealth gap? And I think good financial literacy and wealth management are very key. So one of the things I say in my book is that this is a great career for women, for young people, and also for people of color, and who can get the skills and the knowledge to help their communities. So that was sort of my passion.
So now let's move to the second part of our interview. And you with your wife, Nalini, had played a very important role for the AIF, American India Foundation, especially in this New England area, and of course now you are involved nationally. That is also celebrating 20 years this year, which is a huge milestone. Congratulations on that as well.
Thank you very much.
And I think personally I have attended almost every AIF.
You have. You've been a great supporter from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. So you have been involved with the AIF. You have been, recently you joined the board of Boston Foundation. And then you are trustee at the Emerson College. So how do you find time to do all these things? And what motivates you to get involved in these groups?
So I've always believed that, helping others succeed is powerful and empowering to the person who is sort of providing that service. And to me, philanthropy is a way of expressing gratitude. Gratitude for all the plenty we have in life, the abundance we have. So for the American India Foundation, growing up as a kid in Hyderabad, you see a lot of disparity. You see the very poor at the bottom of the economic ladder. And my sense was, what is the way we can disrupt poverty in India? And I found AIF to be the conduit for that. Their goal was disrupting poverty through education, through public health, through livelihood, and essentially propagating best practices. So it's been a glorious partnership with AIF. The Boston area today has over 100 very strong supporters, who are carrying the AIF banner. And nationally, we raise about $30 million a year for AIF. And the other thing I'm passionate about is, we all have made this country a home. We're from India, home, our ancestral home, but this is our adopted land. And I really feel we need to give back to this country and to the city we live in. So I went to Emerson. So I felt, perhaps, I can make a contribution there as a trustee, helping young people succeed. Many of them are in filmmaking and the arts. Very difficult field.
Yes.
Very entrepreneurial.
Actually, we had about 3 interns working here at the Mishra Group from Emerson.
Terrific.
And all 3 of them were employed and now they are doing great. They are no longer with us, but they are fantastic.
Fantastic.
All 3
it's a wonderful school if you're in the creative arts. So, being part of the board of trustees, helping open up opportunities for people of color, making sure that the student body is diverse at Emerson, because media education is powerful for any society. The Boston Foundation, that is my first foray into this, working with a foundation which is all about helping the citizens of Boston, especially the very poor, in housing, education, homelessness, public health. And the foundation has been around for over 100 years and one of the biggest foundations in the country. I'm also involved with Boston Harbor now, which is
yes, I do. Of course.
And there, if you've not been to the islands, you have been to the islands.
Yes.
We got 34 islands surrounding Boston Harbor, which is all a national park. And I look over from my office at 100 Federal, and I see those islands, and I said, how can I make a contribution? And one of my clients was involved with the Boston Harbor now, and that's how I got involved. So it's all about the environment and sort of giving back. So to me, philanthropy is something which is liberating. Maya Angelou said, philanthropy liberates the soul of the giver. And I really believe that. You get so much out of giving than receiving. And to me, it's fun. And I'm trying to pay it forward and hopefully help people in a small way.
So here is my own complaint with Indian American philanthropist, and hopefully we'll have some good answer for this. And that is basically that if you talk to anyone, look at what they contribute, the focus is always India.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they are doing, it's education in India, helping in India, always India. But we as immigrants live here. We are very grateful to this country. We are there because of this country. So why not make some sort of a philanthropic movement by Indian Americans who really helps our communities here, who really need some help?
Absolutely. Powerful idea.
Yeah.
As Indian Americans, you had to always come up with innovative solutions with limited resources, especially in India. And the work which has been done in India, in fact, let's say the American India Foundation, we are trying to bring some of those principles to communities here. So if you look at the city of Boston, the mortality rate in the inner city of Boston is 3 times that of, say, a place like Back Bay or Beacon Hill.
Sure.
And you wonder, why should that disparity exist in the richest country in the world? So I really believe, just like as you mentioned, our philanthropy should be multidimensional.
Sure.
Certainly India, disrupting poverty. But I think we should also devote our time to helping your local school, your local community, or the local city, and looking at what needs are sort of most urgent in this community. And that way, people don't think of us as migrants who just come for an economic reason. We're here strengthening the society where we have immigrated to.
And no, I mean, suddenly, we are seeing some backlash against Indian Americans, whether you have, the retail and now you see the robberies. And also we are seeing among Indian Americans, I don't know what the reason. Actually, today I was talking here with one of my staff, and he said, we have written this year at least about 5 or 6 articles where the Indian Americans have committed suicide with the entire family. So there should be, even if you look at the Indian Americans, that what, the philanthropists like you or other people can do to eradicate this, these mental issues, all this stuff happening here among us as well here in the United States in front of our own eyes.
You bring about a great point. We are a great community. We are a very successful community, but they are problems. No community is absolutely perfect.
Sure.
And I think we need to address those mental health issues, people who have fallen through the safety net, and issues like domestic abuse, and look at poverty among Indian Americans, which is not insignificant.
Huge, massive.
Absolutely. And I think we should pay attention to that. And I just think, the more we get involved with the community, the image of Indian Americans will be more positive as people who share their best practices, their knowledge. One of the great things about being Indian American is people sort of have this innate sense that we are educated and we are intelligent. And those are great attributes and qualities to use in this country. So we can certainly put it to big use. And I second your notion. I think many of us should collaborate together and maybe come up with a platform to help the city of Boston.
Absolutely.
And help the people in Lowell, in New Bedford, and other places.
Yeah, in Boston. Yeah, sure.
Right in our communities. Sure. How can we enhance those lives?
Excellent. So now let's talk a little bit about youth as well. As we know that the youth is the future, and especially the youth of the Indian American communities. That I think they are doing quite good, integrating very well. And you are involved with some of the youth groups as well. Yeah. So tell us about your role there.
So one of the organizations I'm involved with is called Youth Lead, L-E-A-D. It was started in Sharon, Massachusetts. And it's all about young people engaging across differences. It's a youth leadership program for high school students. And a bunch of us got involved a few years ago. The organization was a little bit of financial trouble. We raised money and we stabilized the organization. Now it is part of Emerson College, the Social Justice Center. I've always felt that this country would be stronger if people engage across differences.
Mm.
So the kids are from all kinds of backgrounds. They're Jewish, they're Christian, they're Muslim, and every other Hindu, of course, religious tribe you can think of. And they talk about what their differences are. When we talk about differences, we actually get better. We understand each other more. And I feel that's America. America is a concept, it's an experiment where they bring people from around the world. But if you stay in your little cocoon, it is not a melting pot.
Yeah.
And so Youth Lead has been very successful. And what Emerson plans to do is to do programs in the city of Boston and all the school systems in the city of Boston, and also take it national at some point in time. So I'm very passionate about that. All my 4 kids went through the program, and I think they're better human beings for having gone through the program. Their understanding of other people is better. And there's one principle that Youth Lead says often, disagree without being disagreeable. And if you look at Congress and all the things which happen today in the world, people disagree, but in a very kind of hostile manner. And we're all going to have disagreements, but why not have some commonality that I still like you, although I might disagree with you.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's got to be the spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now we have finished some serious stuff, and let us talk a little bit about more fun stuff.
Okay.
Okay, which might give you some sort of insight about Raj Sharma. So my first question to you in this respect is that suppose you forget another chance today in life. Will you go back to filmmaking, or you will think of something else, or you will stay where you are right now?
If I had a chance to do it again, and you asked me this question, so I didn't think about it. I think I would do something in public service. Where you have the ability to impact a lot of people. And I think I'd enjoy that, where I can communicate an idea. So my philanthropy is a way of public service.
Sure.
But I'd probably done that much more, maybe a full-time thing, given the right circumstances. But I have no regrets of it. Life has been fun. And I always believe that it's never a straight path. You've got to adjust, and you have to, follow your instincts at the end of the day. And I tell this to young people and my own kids, that you've got to follow your passion and what makes you happy. You don't want to choose a career because it's the right thing to do or it's profitable. But you want something which sort of energizes you. When you sleep at the end of the day, you feel like you've contributed something. And I really believe money is a byproduct of what your passion in life. And this is something which I think, one of the great things about the United States as a country is we are flexible. You can change your career. If you don't like what you're doing, change it tomorrow.
Sure.
There's no need to be miserable.
Sure. So again, I'm picking up on the filmmaking stuff, and which brings me to Bollywood. So when I tell you Bollywood, of course you were born in Hyderabad, so you are very, I'm sure, familiar with the language.
Absolutely, very much so. Yeah.
So when I tell you Bollywood, what comes to your mind?
Oh, a lot of things come to my mind. Bollywood sort of shaped us, made us all romantics. And you remember the 1970s and 60s, the beautiful songs of, for Kishore Kumar and actors like Rajesh Khanna and Devanand. So I left India in 1980. So I know everything.
So you lived on the romantic part, right? That was the most romantic period.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful romantic period. And my favorite singer, of course, is Kishore Kumar.
Sure.
And his ballads. And so many songs are also sad songs, but there's some depth and, beauty in those songs.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, Bollywood shapes me. I love music of every kind. I love jazz, which I think is incredibly relaxing. But I love Indian music of every stripe.
So before we come to music, so I have to, again, regarding Bollywood, which actress's face just flashes in front of you? When you talk
You're
about
putting me on a spot. All right.
Okay.
When I think about it, when I was 12 years old, I wrote a letter to Hema Malini, and I thought she was so gorgeous. And she actually replied back. Not she didn't reply back. Somebody replied back with a picture. And I thought she was phenomenal. I thought Zeenat Aman had this energy about her. She was intellectual, in movies like Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And I was influenced by the movies of Shyam Benegal,
Mm-hmm.
who made some incredible movies at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and movies which were intelligent and which were not just commercial. So certainly Indian movies and Indian arts and culture is what we're all surrounded.
Sure, sure.
And I enjoy that. I do enjoy, many aspects of Western culture and Western music.
So for the actors, you did give us a hint. Rajesh Khanna, was he your favorite actor? Or?
I would say, Devanand and Amitabh Bachchan were probably my favorite actors.
Favorite, okay. So now you also mentioned, so you are keep yourself trapping yourself. So so now I have to ask you, since you mentioned romance, okay. Oh, what is romance for you?
I think romance is, certainly an emotional connection,
Mm.
but it's also about dreaming big.
Mm.
It's about thinking of possibility. And to me, it's sort of bringing that youthful aspect of your lives into the forefront. So romance to me, number one, there's certainly, romance in terms of a love interest, but there's also platonic romance, romance with literature, romance with music, romance with film. And so that's my interest in media, and I think media, I'm fascinated by media even today, and that's how I'm still involved with media. As I'm talking to you,
Sure.
you're a media guy.
Sure,
And
sure.
you do a great job by that.
Thank you, thank you.
And so romance can take various forms.
Is it everlasting or it changes with time? Romance.
I think it evolves over time.
Mm.
It becomes different.
Mm.
And it sort of acquires a higher level in a way. And I think, love is, I think, one of the most powerful things in the world. I met my wife, Nalini, at a radio station.
She was good to him, but go ahead.
And she was producing programs, and I met her, and we built a life together. And I was a radio DJ at that time, with not a single penny to rub together. And I think about our love. We've been married now for 43 years, and we built an incredible life together. And it's all rooted in friendship and respect for each other. And ultimately, I believe love is all about friendship. And the same thing goes with other types of love you have for your parents and your friends, and
So now you brought it up, so I have to ask you. So do you remember the first time you met Nalini?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, I was blown away with love at first sight. I met her.
So it was just your side or her side or both sides?
I have no idea. You got to ask her that question.
Okay,
I
sure.
have no idea. But I was blown away by her sense of humor, her innocence, and just sort of eagerness. We were doing a play together called Visions Do Not Die. It was all about young people rebelling against establishment. And she was the lead actress in the play. And I was the director of the play.
Oh, excellent.
And that's how we sort of got to know each other doing that. But it certainly was love at first sight.
And how long it took for you to propose to her?
Oh, my goodness. And as you know, dating in the late 70s in India was not a done thing. But we dated for about 2 years. We were pretty young when we got married. And
how old you were?
I was married when I was 23, and Nalini was 21.
Okay.
And so we dated for a couple of years, got to know each other, and then I came to this country, and then we got married and built a life here. And, the rest is, as I say, the rest of the story I just told you.
Excellent. Yeah, it was wonderful chatting with you. But before I let you go, I just want to make sure that you understand this. Lifetime Achievement Award is really for all that upliftment and everything. And we sincerely hope this is one of the first Lifetime Achievement Award you are going to get. And there are many more waiting for you. And it is still too young to get the Lifetime Achievement Award. But we just could not stop ourselves. And our judges said, Raj Sharma is the guy.
You're so kind. And I'm really touched and humbled by your judges and by the community and by Nika and by Manju Seth, who knows a pivotal force behind it. And looking forward to the event in October 29th.
Excellent. See you then, and congratulations.
My pleasure. Thank you.